Now let's look at some of the main arguments Christians use to defend the Old Testament slavery laws and why, in my opinion, none of them actually solves the problem. Counter argument 1 says Israel's slavery was not like the American slavery. They say it's more like employment or debt work, but the text itself doesn't support that fully. Israelites could buy foreigners. They could pass them down to their children. They could keep them as property for life. That is not temporary employment. That is ownership. Changing the label doesn't change what the law actually allowed. Counter argument 2 says God was meeting people where they were. God knew slavery was wrong, but regulated it step by step until people were ready to handle it being gone. The problem with that is the law already bans a lot of things that were normal in that world. It bans certain foods. It bans certain fabrics. It bans certain sexual practices. It bans tiny ritual details. So the idea that God could ban all those other things but didn't ban slavery makes us have to ask some questions. Why is this the one more issue where people are supposedly too immature to handle a clear command? Counter argument 3 says slavery laws were actually a protection. They argue that the laws were meant to soften the harm. But if the system itself is wrong, softening the harm does not fix the core issue. It's like saying a cage is humane because you clean the floor. It does not change the fact that the person is still in a cage. Counter argument 4 says the New Testament solves it, but the New Testament also tells slaves to obey their masters. It doesn't condemn the institution. It does not call for the end. If anything, it continues the pattern of working inside the system rather than challenging the morality of the system as a whole. So yes, Israelite slavery was not identical to American slavery. The cultures were different. The rules were different. The motivations were different. I am not claiming they are one-to-one, but that does not change the core issue. At the end of the day, owning another human being is something that most people modernly would say is morally wrong. So if God is unchanging and perfectly good, then allowing people to own other people is going to create tension. And that tension is why all the counter arguments I've heard are not doing it for me. They are not solving the problem in my eyes. They explain around it, but they don't fix the moral contradiction. Drop down in the comments. Tell me what you think.